Start this. Welcome to the Think Tank, episode 19, today on Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, where each day we share the news in open dialogue, discuss how it might affect the business world. We speak with different leaders on crisis navigation and management, as well as experts in professional and personal self-betterment. It's meant to be a break. It's meant to be some learning and sharing of good news and ideas to start people moving forward. It's called Think Tank. Thank you for joining. Today on this webisode, we are joined by Robbie Sawyer, thinker extraordinaire with Thinker Society, who helps people put unique engagement and enrichment together so that they can get to their better ideas faster. Kimball Anderson's joining us from the beach. Thank you, Kimball. Kimball is a creative producer that makes everyone and their content look amazing on stage, and make sure you're on point in doing so. There's Alberto Elizondo, photographer extraordinaire, sports photographer. And as we keep saying, he's been shooting the pigeons, but I think he's moved on to some other animals at this point.
There's T. Scott Anderson. Shot a flamingo.
Oh. Waiting for a package by his front door. He's waiting for his check right there.
Yeah.
Scott is a videographer and works on docu-series and flies cameras for sporting events. Thank you for joining us. There's Michael Simpson. I don't remember the name of the company he is with, but it's eHealth. So what?
I'll email it to you.
So okay, good. But he is in charge of IT and making sure their backbone of what they do, which is deliver medical advice via the web. So he's busy these days for sure. There's Doug Carroll, an advisor and a coach to boards and executives around the world, helping them in their times of challenge and crisis figure out a correct solution and make a new path and head down that path. Companies like Apple, companies like Disney, companies like Southwestern Bell. And then we have iPhone joining us, who's got iPhone money, I'm sure. Thank you for joining us, iPhone. We've got 4 people on YouTube. Please comment if you'd like and tell us where you're coming from or any comments you'd like to add. That is it for intros. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We don't have any speakers today or nothing in particular planned other than just talking about the things of the day. And we cracked open one around here as our PPP finally came in. We never thought that would happen, but that was exciting. So that's good. Who's got some news to share?
Anybody?
There's
I have some interesting news to share. It was I was watching at lunch. So, we're all trying to figure out how are we going to roll out of this and how do we start to slowly get into it. So England, I was watching ITV, which is one of their channels, is setting up through your UK Gov or something like that. You go sign in and say, hey, I'm an essential worker. I'm getting ready to report back to work. I'd like to have a test. And the system online, in theory, is supposed to say, great, please go over here. They're waiting for you to take your test. And anyone in your family that's part of an essential worker can do that as well. So they're trying to do 100,000 plus tests a day,
wow.
Which, that's a good start. And it's a good idea. Let's see what happens with that. I think that is kind of crucial and interesting to see that you've got to put some sort of measurement in there to make people feel comfortable and confident they can go back to a safe environment.
I came in late on a story this morning, and maybe some about this or can certainly explain it better to me, but what's the deal in New York with the mapping program that they're talking about trying to implement? Has anybody heard about this?
I haven't heard about that. Was it about contact tracing?
Maybe it is contact tracing, where if you do test positive, then they immediately put you in or take you to, some room, and then literally begin to, between, who you've come into contact with physically.
So,
it's
so really interesting.
crazy.
really interesting on that. So I heard a couple pieces on the radio yesterday about that. So not specifically to COVID, but to Ebola and a couple other almost pandemics we had prior. And what they do is they literally will go put researchers or scientists on the ground. And when they find someone who's contracted, they then start going back and tracing. And when they were doing it in Africa for Ebola, it's literally write down everyone's name and go to their little village and see how those people are. But they go touch all the people that you've been in contact with for the last 10 days. And then they put them in a monitoring thing, which they're doing now over the phone. So they're calling you every morning and every evening. How do you feel? Anything changed? And that really quelched the spread of the others. And now they're going to try and do that with COVID, with the inclusion now of digital tracking. Like we were saying the other day, how they tracked all the kids from Florida from spring break. Same thing. Your phone now, whenever you're within 5 or 6 feet of someone, sends a signal to that person too and makes a record of that, so that if they find out that Sam got COVID, they can digitally track you back to everyone that you were within 5 or 6 feet of when you had your phone.
There was a story last night on the news about a drone company that is using face technology, or I guess infrared technology, for temperature measurement in a crowd. And, they're talking about the privacy issues of people being scanned. I know we've talked about this before, but I thought it was interesting that it's, the distance is up to 190 feet. Well, that's not far at all, is it? I don't think that's going to be enough.
No, I mean, that's kind of, I was telling you guys at one point about this helmet we're going to bring in, which allows you, I think everyone can see it right now, which does a real-time biothermal scan of the people in front of you. I'll stop that now. And then can scan 200 people within a minute and tell you their temperature. The other interesting thing is full of AI, which will also do facial recognition as well as like read your license plate and tie it to a database and see when the last time was your scan. But bringing that to the US, all we can do is a thermal scan, because you do anything else, people will freak out and lose their mind.
Yeah.
Looks like you could survive. You look like you could survive a mortar attack with that thing too. Is that carbon fiber?
Yeah. So that's the scary thing too. It's like, I promise I didn't do anything. I'm just trying to enter this establishment. So I've been working on, thank you for asking, Robbie.
The faker's version.
Yeah. So no, make it a little more.
Yeah, that definitely takes out a little of the intimidation there for sure.
Yeah. But you got to have that because it's heads up.
Is that your thinking cap?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that your thinking cap, Sam?
Yeah, I put that on and drive around. Everyone looks at me funny.
Have you ordered one, Sam?
Yeah, but they're on crazy back order. We sent 100 to Oman, but they still can't get us just one. So
yeah, Dr. Paulus, I was going to say Sam doesn't order just one of it.
No, those guys said we don't even need a sample, just send it to us. So 100 went there, and then they sold some to Dubai. Who knows what they sold it to them for? And that's what some of those videos you see now online are those that came through our channels.
Sam, can you ballpark the cost of one of those things?
No, I can tell you exactly how much they're $15,000
per helmet.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're trying to get them to make a dumbed down version, because we don't need the AI. We don't need the tie to a database. I don't need facial recognition. I just need to know that head over there is this temperature. That's all I need to know. Anything more, we start getting into all kinds of legality problems. But just tell me a temperature and I'm good. What
do you do for asymptomatic though?
That's the thing. Because
two-thirds,
it's not going to read that. Yeah.
2/3 of the people, show no symptoms. It's just, as we were saying yesterday with Christine, part of it is you need to do this to prepare yourself and protect yourself. But the other part is the outward facing. Hey, look, we're being cognizant of everything that's going on. We're trying to be protective and supportive and watch out for everyone's safe and healthy and health.
Well, and
Sam, did you ever hear back from Mark with IMAX?
No. I'll hear back. I'll hear tomorrow, I'm sure.
Did we lose some of Sammy?
Robbie froze or I froze.
There we go. Okay.
he's back.
I had another interesting call. Some guy was asking for some supplies, but then he goes, "Hey, I need to share this with you." And I was like, "Okay." So he's got this antimicrobial solution that you spray with one of those special what's it called? Biostatic sprayers on any surface, and it instantly kills any virus or bacteria. But what it does is it permanently, well, not permanently, but for 1 year, will not allow any bacteria or virus to land or live on it.
Wow.
So you clean a place traditionally, and then you walk in with a biostatic gun, which everything just like sticks to it right away. And then if a virus or if you had COVID on your hand and you touched it, apparently it's positive charged. So it's basically like stalactite sticking up out of it. And most viruses and bacteria are negatively charged. So when it comes to land on it, it pops their nucleus and then instantly zaps it.
Wow.
Isn't that
Good.
crazy?
That's very good.
At the molecular level, not
At the molecular level. And it's put it all over your hands or spray it on your mask or what have you.
I've heard 24 to 48 hours, but I've never heard anything like a year. That's incredible.
It's a year, and if it's not a high traffic or high touch area, it's 2 years.
Holy cow.
And it's, and 3 months ago, it was guys walking around with 2-gallon jugs into spas going, "Hey, do you need this?" And now all of a sudden people are asking for tanker trucks, I'm sure. I don't know. We're about to go explore that. But think about that. If you had the ability to say, "Look, I can tell you that our entire place has no infection whatsoever," that's a big assurance, And then you just have to make sure the people walking in don't have it to pass it. Which that was interesting. Did you see the Anderson Cooper discussion with the Las Vegas mayor?
Just a bitter piece of it. It looked like it was wild.
Yeah,
I saw only a screenshot of it of Anderson Cooper going like this.
She's just ignoring everything. But an interesting thing he shared was somehow they tracked back to one of the original COVID carriers back in China, and they were in a restaurant. So they had like a room layout, and here's all the tables, and here's the people around the table. I should show you this. I should go pull it up. But like, here's the infected person. So of course the people sitting right next to him got infected. But then the people directly across the table from him, because, stuff's going out that way. No one at the outskirts there, but they could exactly tell you where the air conditioning ducts were, because that entire swath through the whole restaurant, everyone in that swath got infected. So that's crazy. Any other news? What are we looking for tonight with the beginning of the draft?
couple quarterbacks.
So Joe goes first, does he, Scotty?
What?
The LSU quarterback goes first, or no?
That's what everybody seems to think.
What is that? Cincinnati? Who is it? Cleveland?
Cincinnati.
Okay. All right.
I'm interested not to see
I've heard more positives about Tua, but they still think Joe's going to go first.
Yeah, Tua's injury situation has got to be the only question, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he have a pretty serious college? Yeah. Several. Yeah.
I'm interested to see the how the tech works out.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a really interesting news article that I was reading probably about an hour ago that was basically talking about everything that they're going to do. That the league sent out packages of different things to NFL execs that included cameras and lighting, and that Goodell's office had been contacted by various league sponsors like Verizon and Amazon just to see what they could do to help support everything. They apparently, I didn't hear how the results went, but they apparently did a dry run with the technology piece on Monday night, just to, I guess, probably work out all the kinks. One thing that I did take away from the article, I skimmed it very briefly, but they were trying to figure out how to virtually pipe in the booing noise that that is obviously going to happen. So they were trying to figure out how to make it as authentic as possible, I guess.
That just needs to be a button.
Either that or the article was being a bit sarcastic. I didn't look at it long enough. I think they were actually probably trying to do it.
No, the Goodell has been a really good sport about that. And apparently one of the things is he's going to have a boo button that he gets to press when he's making the announcement. So
that's awesome
about that. The other thing is that on Monday night, there was a catastrophic failure of the entire tech background on the first pick. It crashed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Literally the very first pick by Cincinnati, the whole thing went south. I don't know why, but it was, now they've fixed it apparently. They've gone through another one, but there's apparently a lot of, they've done a lot of work to try to create some interest in production. Goodell has promised booze and him doing his laundry, just to try to make it a little less, great. Here's this guy on Zoom doing this, and here's the next one.
Because he's an everyday Joe making $30 million a year.
Yeah. They were talking about making longer between picks, but they have decided not to do that. It's still 10 minutes on night one and 7 minutes after that.
So is it going to be on regular TV as well as online?
ABC, NBC, or ABC, ESPN, and the NFL Network are all doing, obviously ABC and ESPN are the same people, but then the NFL Network, they've partnered with them, and there's going to be actually cross work between all three of those. And as far as I know, it'll be simulcast on all three of those.
So, okay. So
I have a picture from the NFL, from the Atlanta Falcons, of what their virtual draft room looks like. If you guys would like to see it, I don't know if I can share my screen or not.
Yeah, I think you can share, or you can share it on the chat.
Try share screen. You've got a button down there, share screen.
Oh, it just says that only the host can.
Let's see if I can change that. So who's going to watch, who's watching on television traditionally, and who's watching online? Who's doing TV?
TV.
Yeah,
okay.
TV.
That was interesting. I started watching the Super Bowl online because all of a sudden you could get 16 different cameras that you got to choose. You got to mix your own show.
Interesting.
Remember we were talking yesterday about legalized gambling. Apparently Vegas has got enormous money that they've never seen on the draft tonight. So all that pent up desire to bet on stuff is coming out tonight.
The interesting thing will be if there's not there we go. Yeah, you got a screen.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
That worked?
Yep,
there.
It worked.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
Well, that's not as elaborate as I thought it would have been.
Got,
but I mean, it's
got your lighting over here.
Yeah, ring light.
Yep.
Yeah, but what a 3-ring circus in there. And I wonder if those guys are, and we talked about this, I don't know if it was earlier this week or last week, about, the traditional war room, right? And are they going to, and that what is typically a 3-ring circus unless you have the first pick and you've already negotiated the deal practically, which is probably what Cincinnati has already done. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know if you guys seen the documentary, is it Bill v. Bill? Bill Belichick's interview. And
Check, and that's a great one. That's really
And
interesting.
Bill
Check
Parcells.
and Bill Parcells, yeah.
But it got me to thinking a little bit. I was talking to my son about this, my oldest son, and it's like it'll be interesting to see. He goes to school in Boston, so he had a call with the football team yesterday, and the head coach is a huge Patriots fan, and the topic of Tom Brady and Gronkowski going to Tampa came up, and kids are asking him, what do you think of that, and da 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 da, and there's some people in New England that think that maybe the Patriots are going to try to make a splash tonight and move up somehow. Not necessarily to get the LSU quarterback, but to get a big pick to try to replace Brady.
Mm-hmm. Because what do they have now? I mean, who is there?
They got a kid. His name's
North Carolina
Stidham?
State guy from last year.
North Carolina State.
Jared Stidham.
And some people like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you guys hear that the Spanish Soccer League it has scheduled their play? They're going to start playing, but they will not have fans in the stands through all of 2021.
Yikes.
Wow.
And apparently all the players were tested on Tuesday.
Oh, really?
Every player in the entire league was tested on Tuesday.
And they're talking about doing testing daily in that league.
The Dutch league has decided not to play this coming year. So I don't know if they're going to change their mind with testing, but they have canceled their season.
For 21 or for the remainder of 20?
That this year, I think this year, because they start in the fall, I think, for this year.
Well, it sounds like there's plenty of tests out there then.
Yeah.
Not here.
If you're important enough.
Right.
Yeah. That's crazy. Hey, not sports related, but Scott, I didn't know that what do you do for Fixer Upper down there? That was interesting. I didn't know that you were doing work with those guys.
Well, it's over now. I worked for seasons 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, you did? Okay. Is that pretty cool?
Yeah, I mean they're great people.
Yeah.
And I'd go down there to shoot the befores. I was doing the jib operating, so I would go down to shoot the befores of these houses before they started working on them, and then the reveal day, go back and shoot them again as they spread the panels and reveal the house.
Yeah. I always thought it was weird that those houses are always vacant, that they're showing people. How does that work?
What do you mean, the original
houses for sale
shape of them?
Yeah, the houses that they're trying to sell people, no one ever lives in them. They're all vacant.
I think Chip had something to do with that because he was connected with the real estate game down there.
Okay.
I think that's the way they contracted it.
Hey, Scotty, speaking of your TV expertise, we were on the ESPN subject a minute ago. Now, years and years ago, didn't you kind of get your start at ESPN? Was that sort of your first?
Oh, yeah, that was what, 91, 92.
I was curious, what was the culture and environment like at ESPN in Connecticut back then?
It was like working in a locker room at that point. It was still very male-centric, and a lot of young kids who were just there to basically watch sports. I think it's developed into something far beyond what it was when I was there.
That's what I kind of figured. I mean, I imagine it was not even a shell of what we see today.
It was only a 10-year-old company when I was working there.
Yeah, interesting.
Any
Sammy,
other news, guys?
I don't know. Do we have anything planned tomorrow at happy hour or anything going on?
Not as of yet. If anyone has someone they'd like to join. Again, next Tuesday we do have a gentleman on that's going to give us some insight as to how to stay connected with our virtual team members and employees in a meaningful, productive way. So that should be good. trying to get Mark Mulligan from IMEX, the COO of IMEX, to join us and talk to us about what his events are going to look like. And did you see they just launched, or they're about to launch, Planet IMEX, which I haven't dove very deep into, but it looks interesting. Trying to
Did
keep
Dane
people
get back
connected.
to you, Sammy?
Yeah, Mark said, "Hey, let's get together. We got to talk about October and start putting that together."
No, I'm saying, did Dane get back to you?
No, I
Okay.
haven't reached out. I never sent the email,
Oh, okay.
so I will. Anything
Okay.
else? Anyone?
Sounds good.
So I thought, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, I thought that it was pretty interesting. We'll start to see, I'm sure, a handful of these things. But in May, we will have the second version of the match, Tiger versus Phil.
Oh, really?
And this time, yes. And this time, it's going to be a 2-on-2, presumably match play. And Tiger Woods is teaming up with Peyton Manning, and Phil Mickelson is teaming up with Tom Brady. So they haven't announced a date, and I don't know that they've announced a venue, but it will be in May, and it will be on TNT. And it's basically a charity match raising money for COVID-19 relief.
Very cool. I'll watch that.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. Thanks for joining. Join us tomorrow at 4 o'clock with your favorite beverage, and we'll talk some more. So stay home, stay healthy, and see you tomorrow.
Good night, Kimball.
Yep. It's dark here. I got to go to bed.